All right, so today we're going deep.
Ooh, deep.
Into some pretty intriguing stories.
Okay.
Specifically, we're looking at UFO sightings in Minnesota.
Fascinating.
Yeah, we're going to be exploring an article called Minnesota UFO Mysteries, Alien Encounters in the Land of 10,000 Lakes.
Okay.
You know, you think Minnesota,
Right.
you got lakes, you got
Paul Bunyan.
Paul Bunyan.
Yeah.
But turns out there's a whole other side to this state.
Right.
One that looks up to the skies with a mix of wonder and maybe a little bit of fear.
It is fascinating how these UFO narratives seem to be woven into the landscape.
Yeah.
Almost like the vast wilderness and those endless starry nights are kind of inviting us to consider the possibility of something beyond our understanding.
Okay, so the article starts us off in the early 1900s.
Okay.
Now, there were a few reports of strange lights even back then, but things really heated up after that Roswell incident in 1947.
Right.
It seems like that event put UFOs on everybody's radar.
Yeah.
And Minnesota was no exception.
Roswell was kind of a pivotal moment.
Yeah.
It took the idea of UFOs from the realm of science fiction and brought it into the public consciousness.
Right.
Suddenly, everyone was looking up, scrutinizing the skies, and questioning what might be out there.
Right. And just a few years later, in 1950, we have a sighting in Rochester, Minnesota that really captures the imagination.
Right.
So a metallic disc-shaped object seen hovering silently in the air, and then it just takes off at an incredible speed.
Wow.
I mean, that's the classic image of a UFO.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that this visual archetype, this almost universal image of a disc-shaped craft, appears across cultures and throughout history. Makes you wonder if there's something more to it than just our collective imagination.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, why a disc shape?
Right.
Why not something more, well, aerodynamic?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a reason we haven't figured out yet.
Right.
But let's fast forward a bit to 1979, to the Marshall County incident.
All right.
Now, this case is legendary in UFO circles.
It's a case with compelling physical evidence and firsthand testimony that really pushes the boundaries of what we consider possible.
So we have Deputy Sheriff Val Johnson patrolling a rural road near Warren, Minnesota. It's late at night.
Okay.
And suddenly he encounters a bright light hovering over the road.
Oh, wow.
As he gets closer, the light starts moving towards his patrol car.
Oh, no.
And then, boom, a blinding flash of light.
And what happens next is what sets this case apart.
Okay.
When Johnson's car is found, the windshield is shattered.
Wow.
The antenna is bent at a 90-degree angle.
What?
And his watch, along with the car's clock, have stopped.
No way.
Yeah.
Not to mention Johnson had burns on his face and neck.
Oh, my God.
Consistent with exposure to intense light.
Wow.
And here's the thing. Despite investigations by the police, the Center for UFO Studies, and even the Air Force, there's never been a conclusive explanation. Wow.
For what happened that night.
That's what makes this case so intriguing. Yeah. Tangible evidence. We have a credible witness in a position of authority.
Right.
And yet the incident remains unexplained.
It's crazy.
It challenges our assumptions about what we think we know.
Right, and it makes you wonder what really happened to Deputy Johnson that night.
Yeah.
On that lonely road. Now let's shift gears and head north to Lake Superior.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's an incredible body of water.
Oh, yeah.
The largest freshwater lake in the world.
It's huge.
But it also seems to be a magnet for UFO activity.
There's something about large bodies of water that seems to attract these kinds of reports.
Yeah.
Whether it's the vastness, the depth, or something else entirely.
Right.
It's a pattern that researchers have noticed globally.
Like in 2007, we had the Silver Bay sighting.
Okay.
Where campers witnessed glowing orbs hovering over Lake Superior.
Wow.
Moving in these precise formations.
Okay.
And pulsating with this otherworldly light.
They described the orbs as moving in ways that seemed unnatural. And almost intelligent.
That term intelligent is fascinating.
Yeah.
It suggests that these objects weren't just randomly moving about, but that there was a purpose behind their actions.
Right.
A level of control that goes beyond any known natural phenomena.
It makes you wonder what would be the purpose of these formations.
Right.
Are they communicating something?
Yeah.
Are they studying us?
Interesting.
It's enough to send shivers down your spine.
Right.
Then there's the Duluth Triangle, where people report seeing triangular craft with pulsing lights flying silently over the city of Duluth.
Now, some try to dismiss these sightings as misidentified military aircraft.
Right.
But the descriptions often don't align with known aircraft.
Right.
Triangular craft are rarely used by the military.
Yeah, right.
And the silent hovering movements described by witnesses aren't typical of conventional aircraft.
It's like there's something else going on there.
Yeah.
Something we just can't quite explain.
Right.
And it's not just Lake Superior. Let's head to Bemidji.
Okay.
The first city on the Mississippi.
Right.
Beautiful area.
Yeah.
But it's also a hotspot for UFO activity.
Really?
According to Newfert, the National UFO Reporting Center, Bemidji has had over 30 reported UFO sightings.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Newfert is a valuable resource for UFO researchers.
Yeah.
It's a nonprofit organization that collects and analyzes reports of UFO sightings from all over the world.
Wow.
Creating a massive database that can be used to identify patterns and trends.
So it's not just a bunch of random stories.
Right.
There's actual data being compiled and studied.
Exactly.
That's reassuring. At least someone is taking this seriously.
Right.
And in Bemidji, one of the most talked about events is the 2023 Flash and Boom incident.
Okay.
It sounds like something straight out of a movie.
It certainly does.
Yeah.
Imagine a peaceful evening in Bemidji.
Yeah.
And suddenly a massive flash of light illuminates the sky, followed by a deafening boom that shakes windows and sets off car alarms across the entire county.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It sounds like total chaos.
Right.
But what caused it?
Good question.
Initially, everyone thought it was a meteor,
Right.
which wouldn't be all that surprising.
Yeah.
But then astronomers and NASA stepped in
Okay.
and ruled out that possibility
Interesting.
because of the object's trajectory.
Okay.
It was moving horizontally, not the typical steep angle of a meteor entering the atmosphere.
So we know it wasn't a meteor.
Right.
But that leaves us with a big question. What was it?
Right.
And this is where the mystery deepens.
Okay.
Some witnesses reported seeing a glowing object streaking across the sky
Wow.
right before the boom,
Okay.
which has led many to believe that it was a UFO.
I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
If it wasn't a meteor
Right.
and it was a glowing object moving horizontally across the sky,
Right.
what else could it be?
Exactly.
But Bemidji's history with UFOs doesn't stop there.
Oh.
The town has a long list of strange lights, glowing orbs. And you guessed it.
What?
Those mysterious triangular crafts we keep encountering.
Bemidji is almost like a microcosm of Minnesota's UFO phenomena,
Yeah.
showcasing a wide range of reported activity,
Right.
from lights in the sky to objects demonstrating seemingly impossible maneuvers.
Wow.
It's a place that makes you wonder if there's something unique about its location, its energy, or something else we haven't even considered yet.
Okay, I am officially hooked.
You too.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves,
All right.
let's dive into some of these even more chilling encounters.
Ooh, chill.
The ones that really make you question what's out there.
Okay.
We're talking about alien abductions
Okay.
and the mysterious happenings in the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness.
Let's venture into those uncharted territories.
Okay.
This is where the stories take on a whole new level of intrigue
Right.
and, frankly, a little bit of terror.
Ooh, scary.
Let's start with a case that really sends shivers down the spine. The Hubbard County abduction case.
Oh, yeah.
From the early 1980s.
Okay.
A family vacationing near Park Rapids reported losing several hours of time
What?
while driving at night.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Okay.
Driving along and then suddenly realizing that hours have vanished with no memory of where you've been.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like something out of a nightmare.
Right.
And the article mentions that they woke up feeling disoriented with these hazy memories of being in a bright, sterile room.
Yeah.
It's like their minds were trying to piece together something that felt utterly alien to them.
And under hypnosis, one family member recalled seeing humanoid figures
Oh, wow.
with large, dark eyes
Okay.
and slender bodies. Classic imagery associated with alien encounters.
Right.
Now, skeptics might suggest it was a shared hallucination
Yeah.
or a case of sleep paralysis,
Right.
but the consistency of the family's accounts and the missing time element make it hard to simply dismiss.
It definitely makes you think twice about those late night drives. And speaking of eerie locations,
Yeah.
we can't forget the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness.
No, yeah, the Boundary Water.
I mean, it's a place of incredible beauty,
It's beautiful up there.
but it's also incredibly remote.
Yeah.
With vast stretches of forests and lakes.
Oh, yeah.
It's the kind of place where you can imagine anything lurking in the shadows.
The Boundary Waters is a fascinating case study.
Yeah.
Because it combines natural beauty
Right.
with a sense of isolation and mystery.
Right.
It's a place where the line between reality and the unknown seems to blur.
And the UFO reports from the Boundary Waters are equally intriguing.
Oh, tell me.
We have stories of strange lights scanning the forest, mechanical humming noises.
Wow.
And witnesses who describe feeling a strange presence.
Like they're being watched.
Yeah, almost like they're being watched.
It's interesting how these reports often tie into the landscape itself.
Right.
The vastness, the isolation, the untouched wilderness.
Yeah.
It all feeds into this sense of mystery. And the possibility of something extraordinary hiding just beyond our perception.
Some even believe that there are hidden alien bases in the Boundary Waters.
Whoa, really?
I mean, who knows what could be concealed within those dense forests and countless islands.
Right.
It's the perfect place to keep a secret.
It certainly fuels the imagination.
Yeah.
And the fact that so many of these reports come from experienced outdoors people.
Yeah.
Folks who are familiar with the area and know how to distinguish natural phenomena from something truly unusual.
Right.
Adds another layer of credibility to these stories.
So we have all these incredible sightings and strange encounters.
Yeah.
But why Minnesota?
Right.
What is it about this state that seems to attract so much UFO activity?
Well, one theory that often comes up is the proximity to water.
Okay.
We've already seen this pattern with Lake Superior.
Right.
But it's not just limited to the big lakes.
Right.
Many UFO hotspots in Minnesota are located near smaller lakes and rivers as well.
So there could be a connection between these unidentified craft and water.
Possibly.
Maybe they use it as a source of energy, or maybe it's something else entirely.
Yeah.
We just don't know.
It's an intriguing idea.
Yeah.
And it fits into a broader pattern observed worldwide.
Okay.
Many UFO sightings occur near coastlines, oceans, and lakes.
Interesting.
It's almost as if these craft have an affinity for water.
And let's not forget Minnesota's vast wilderness and low population density.
Right.
It's the perfect place to observe the night sky without light pollution, but it's also the perfect place to conceal activity, whether it's extraterrestrial or something else we haven't considered.
That isolation is a double-edged sword.
Right.
It allows for a clear observation of the skies.
Right.
But it also makes it difficult to investigate these sightings.
Right.
It's a breeding ground for mystery and speculation.
And it makes you wonder if there are even more sightings that go unreported simply because there's no one around to witness them.
That's entirely possible.
Yeah.
And it highlights the limitations of our data.
Right.
We're relying on what people report. But there could be a whole other layer of activity happening beyond our awareness.
Okay. But it's not just the big lakes and remote wilderness where things get strange.
Oh, really?
The article mentions a couple of other intriguing cases that happened in smaller towns.
Okay.
Places you wouldn't necessarily associate with UFOs.
Interesting. It's a good reminder that these phenomena can occur anywhere, anytime.
Right.
There's no specific geographic or demographic profile for UFO sightings.
Like the 1965 Long Prairie UFO chase.
Oh.
2 police officers see a glowing object hovering over a field.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally, they try to approach it.
Right.
But it takes off at incredible speed.
Oh, wow.
And they end up chasing it for miles before it just vanishes.
A police chase involving a UFO?
Yeah.
It's not something you hear every day.
Having law enforcement officials as witnesses adds a level of credibility to these reports.
Well, absolutely.
They're trained observers.
Right.
They're accustomed to dealing with unusual situations.
Right.
And yet they're encountering something that defies their training and experience.
And then there's the Cushing light.
Okay.
A mysterious light that's been seen in the woods near the town of Cushing for years.
What?
Some say it's swamp gas.
Okay.
Others say it's car headlights.
Right.
But the persistent reports and the fact that no one has ever been able to definitively explain it
Right.
keeps the mystery alive.
It's a reminder that even in seemingly ordinary places,
Yeah.
there can be extraordinary occurrences that defy easy explanations.
Absolutely. And that's what's so captivating about UFO stories.
Yeah.
They challenge our sense of what's possible
Right.
and what we think we know about the world.
All these stories, these sightings, these unexplained events, it makes you wonder if anyone is actually trying to make sense of it all.
Right.
Is there any real research being done on UFOs here in Minnesota?
There definitely are groups and individuals dedicated to investigating these phenomena in Minnesota.
Okay.
One of the most active is the Minnesota chapter of MUFON,
MUFON.
Mutual UFO Network.
Okay.
They investigate reports from residents, maintain a database of sightings,
Right.
and work to educate the public about UFOs.
So there are people out there actively trying to separate fact from fiction,
Yeah.
trying to find real answer.
Trying to find answers.
But what about the academic world?
Oh, okay.
Are any universities or researchers studying UFOs?
It's not as common as you might think,
Right.
but there are researchers primarily in fields like astronomy, physics, and atmospheric sciences
Okay.
who are open to the possibility of unexplained phenomena.
Yeah.
And are willing to approach the subject from a scientific perspective.
It seems like Minnesota's UFO history has had a pretty big impact on the state's culture, too.
I imagine so.
The article mentions festivals and events in towns like Warren and Bemidji that celebrate UFO culture.
It's fascinating how these towns have embraced their association with UFOs.
Yeah.
It's not just about the mystery.
Right.
It's about community.
Right.
Shared experiences, and a sense of wonder about the universe.
Right.
These events bring people together and create a space for open dialogue about the unknown.
And it's not just festivals.
What else?
Minnesota artists have also been inspired by UFO sightings, creating paintings, sculptures, and music that explore the themes of mystery, the unknown, and our place in the cosmos.
It speaks to the power of these stories to ignite our imagination.
Yeah.
And push the boundaries of creativity.
Right.
They force us to confront the big questions.
Okay.
Are we alone?
Right.
What else is out there?
Yeah.
And what does it all mean?
It's almost like UFO sightings have become part of Minnesota's folklore, adding another layer to the state's identity.
Yeah.
Alongside Paul Bunyan and the Hodag, we now have flying saucers and alien encounters.
It's this blending of the real and the imagined.
Yeah.
The natural and the supernatural that makes Minnesota's UFO lore so compelling.
Right.
It reflects our fascination with the unknown and our enduring quest to understand our place in the universe.
And as technology advances, who knows what we might uncover in the future.
Right.
The article talks about how advancements in cameras, drones, and satellite imagery are giving researchers new tools to investigate UFO sightings.
We're now able to capture and analyze data in ways that were unimaginable just a few decades ago.
Yeah.
And with the recent increased government focus on UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, there's a renewed sense of legitimacy surrounding this topic.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating time to be following UFO research.
It's incredible to think that future investigations might finally reveal the truth behind these mysteries.
It would be amazing.
But for now, the speculation and the wonder continue.
And that's part of the allure, isn't it?
Yeah.
The not knowing, the possibility that something truly extraordinary is out there.
Yeah.
Just beyond our grasp. It keeps us looking up, asking questions, and challenging our understanding of the world.
So after this deep dive into Minnesota's UFO history, from those early sightings to the chilling abduction stories, are we any closer to understanding what's really going on?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
But perhaps the true value of these stories lies not in finding definitive answers, but in the questions they raise, the sense of wonder they inspire, and the reminder that there's still so much left to explore.
Yeah, it really is humbling to think about, how much we don't know.
Right.
And to consider the possibility that there might be things out there that challenge our current understanding of the universe.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that we should always approach these topics with a sense of curiosity and an open mind.
Yeah.
Even if we don't have all the answers.
Right.
The process of exploration and questioning is valuable in itself.
I think what I find most fascinating is how these stories, whether you believe them or not, they really tap into something deep within us. This sense of wonder about the unknown.
It's that primal instinct.
Yeah.
To explore, to seek answers.
Right.
To make sense of the world around us. It's what drives scientific discovery.
Right.
It's what fuels our imaginations. And it's what makes these UFO stories so compelling.
Yeah, it's like they're a reflection of our own hopes and fears.
Right.
Our desire to connect with something bigger than ourselves. And maybe also our anxiety about what might be lurking out there in the vastness of space.
Exactly. These stories allow us to grapple with these big existential questions in a safe and engaging way.
Right.
They provide a platform for discussing the possibilities, the unknowns, and the what-ifs without the constraints of hard scientific proof.
And in a way, isn't that what makes Minnesota such a perfect setting for these stories?
Yeah, I think so.
You have this incredible natural beauty.
Right.
This sense of vastness and isolation.
Yeah.
And then you have these reports of strange lights, unexplained phenomena, and encounters that defy logic.
It's like the landscape itself is whispering tales of mystery and wonder.
Yeah.
And whether you're a skeptic or a believer, it's hard not to be captivated by the possibilities that these stories present.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Minnesota's UFO mysteries, I'm left with this lingering sense of wonder and curiosity.
Yeah.
It's like we've only scratched the surface of something much bigger.
Right.
Something that continues to elude our understanding.
And perhaps that's the beauty of it all.
Yeah.
The mystery remains, inviting us to keep looking up.
Yeah.
To keep questioning. And to never lose that childlike sense of awe when confronted with the unknown.
Well said. So to our listener, we leave you with this final thought.
Okay.
Could Minnesota's vast wilderness be hiding more secrets than we know?
Ooh, good question.
What will future investigations uncover?
Right.
And perhaps even more importantly, what will those discoveries teach us about ourselves and our place in the grand scheme of things?
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and never stop looking up. Because the universe is full of mysteries waiting to be unraveled.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Minnesota's UFO mysteries. Until next time.
Okay.
Keep your eyes on the skies. And never stop exploring the unknown.